All right, so it is being recorded, so I'm going to close the transcription. All right, hold on, I think I have a chat for somebody. I'm not sure who. I just sent her the okay. Christy's asking for the Zoom link. I thought I had given her. Okay, so why don't let me just send Christy the Microsoft Team invite. She just chatted me. Sorry about that. I'll forward this to Christy.
Yeah, I'm gonna scribble all of them.
Then
Then I did an interview once and we had to use a whiteboard. And I wrote up the mountain. It's a skill you gotta learn.
Oh, yeah, I see. But one place I got to, they did a handwriting. It was a Frenchman.
All right.
How's the job? Like a job screening tool?
Wow.
Do you remember what they found with your handwriting style?
Well, so I asked, they said, well, basically, I mean, they have to do it because it's French, but they join you so that like you're applying for a manager job.
Okay.
So within a second, you had your handwriting showed affirmation, firmness. It was pretty ridiculous.
Let me just
Oh my God.
chat with her and say, hey, we're on
So
team.
more about efficiency in writing French than it was like some type of personality test.
It was supposed to be personnel. I mean, that was with the French, but these, I mean, these guys were, they did, they, once they knew that.
I just want to give feedback that the audio is much harder for me to hear in this format. I don't know if I'm the only one. Is anybody else having a hard time understanding conversation?
Well, we're not talking.
We're not really talking yet.
Yeah, I just, even when you're talking directly, like it's much more fragmented than I feel like it typically is. It could be my computer though.
Yeah, I'm not sure. The mic is up there.
Okay.
All right. So I think, Christy, is your whole team here? Or do I gotta forward that link somewhere? And I apologize, I thought I had sent you all the same link.
It's okay. I posted the link in our team chat, so everyone should have access. It might
Awesome.
just take, yeah. There might be a straggler or two, but.
Okay. And I'm sorry, Kim, about the audio. I'm not sure if it's the format or if it's the I'm not sure. But now that we're all here, I've already started the recording. I'm gonna go ahead and share the agenda. And we can officially call it to order.
Great. Well, good evening, everybody. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. And we do have a member of the public here tonight. So I'm not sure what the proper protocol is. If you'd like to introduce yourself, if that's.
Yeah, she gets 3 minutes to talk, and then she's gonna stay and watch. She wants to watch the meeting, and she's more than welcome to do that. And so yeah, we're gonna give her 3 minutes here, and I'll put the timer on, and she can introduce herself and.
Oh.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna give you the time. So you can hear. Yeah.
3 minutes is long.
All right, Lene, go ahead.
All right, I'll give you some little bit of information about me. My name is Lene, and I moved here from Colorado Springs in 1970. So I've been here for a long time, and I love Longmont, and I've seen a lot of good, a lot of changes, but then of course, everybody knows about the people that are needing help with getting shelter and that kind of thing. So I have a friend who I'm trying to help right now. He's homeless at the time and has been since January. So So I've really been trying to do some research. Like I said, I've never done anything public like this before, but I've always been very interested when I see things around town, or, I just want to help. I've always been a helper, and this has really opened my eyes to try to get more information, more resources to help my friend. And also, my dad was here from Mexico, and I also help my brother. He has disabilities, and he gets Meals on Wheels. And so my dad was asking him, if you're not going to eat this meal, we can't let it go to waste. I mean, there's people all over the place. And so my dad actually went and found some people and talked with them. And he said one was a younger gentleman that actually got tears in his eyes and was just so thankful, and thankful for somebody to just come and, acknowledge that he's there. And then also for the meal. So it's really encouraged me to stop just thinking about what I would love to do and actually jump in and to be a part of it. I'm very interested in doing that, and hope I can be some help for the city, for our people, for my friend. So, is that 1 minute?
You have 10 seconds.
Anyway, it's wonderful to be here, and I really appreciate Mr. Mendez for that's it. But I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're happy to have you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. And then I have to apologize with the transition with Brenda. I can't find the minutes, so I need to meet with her. I mean, I don't want to pull it from her work, but we need to get those minutes. And she's been busy, and of course I've been busy trying to set everybody up on Found It. So I do not have the minutes from tonight, from July. So my apologies on that. I will get those, and we will approve them at our October meeting. Okay, so we'll approve this month and July. And Erica's I'm just gonna send her the recording, and she's gonna create the minutes for us. So I'm really grateful to having some help in the, we just opened the position for human services and HCI, so that's great. But I'm sure that's gonna take a while to fill. So I'm Christine and I are kind of on our own for a little bit. So we're trying to get as much help as we can before we can get it. So my apologies. All right. I'm gonna stop sharing this one. Oh, there's Christina. Hey, Christina.
Hey there. Sorry, I logged in a little late. I was out looking at some properties, so I just was able to log in now. Sorry about that.
No worries. So tonight we don't have anything to vote on. Both our human services funding has an update to give you, and then I know Christy's team has a update to give you. Mine will be, Alejandro's coming too. Here he comes. All right. Welcome, Alejandro.
Hello, hello. Sorry about that.
No worries, no worries, no worries. We're just about to get into the meat of the meeting.
Nice.
So I think on the agenda, I go first. Before Christina and I went and screened the agencies, there was 58 agencies.
To start the meeting.
We already did.
We already did?
Yeah. Kevin called it to order.
Okay.
So we're on item 4 of the agenda. Yeah, we're update on human services. And usually we would vote to accept the minutes, but again, I don't have those, so my apologies. We had 68 programs and 58 agencies apply this year. for around $2.5 million in requests. Yeah, I told you last year that it was gonna continue to grow, and it has. After screening out some agencies and some programs, we're down to 53 agencies and 62 programs. That's still quite a bit of program to review. And you know, what we did is Brenda and I, we gave you all choices, and then we've all told you just because we want to have enough reviewers for, I want to have at least 3 reviewers for each priority area, and we met that goal of having at least 3 reviewers for each priority area. And so I broke down all of the where your priority areas are and how many. So none of you have more than 30. Actually, nobody hit 30, but some of you are a little bit higher than others. The average is around 25 or so that you all have. Some have a couple more, some a couple less. And I set up. I always have to wait to get the hearing scheduled until we have how many folks we have. And so Erica helped me with that. And what we wanted to share with you, then again, it's we were doing it this way so that it's not one of these we continue to learn. There's always a choice. Either we have super long nights and have less, or we have more and shorter nights, right? This year we decided to go with having a little more, but having shorter ones, right? Because it's, you know, we've had meetings. Those of you that've been here that go to 9:30, and you're kind of brain dead by the end of those. And so this year we're probably going to go between 6 and 8. There's maybe one that goes to 8:40 tops, but we're going to have 8 totals, and there's going to be 2 quick mornings on Saturday. So it's going to be quick Saturday mornings, and I'm going to show you the schedule. I'm going to share that with the whole group, and I will send it out too. I just finished it today. Sorry, there's a lot of stuff going on. So my bad. So because I want to start reaching out to the agencies right away. So we start Wednesday, the 25th of September. So that gives us about 2 weeks to start. 2 weeks for you to start reading your applications. And again, not everybody has to go. So we're starting with education. So if you're in education, you're up first. We're doing 2 as usual, typically, but this is what we get done by 2020. We're doing 2 educations because education is always, a lot of agencies applying for education. And then on 10/9, we go to food and nutrition, and we get done by 8 or 8:20. On the 10/16, it's this is health, and we're gonna have 2 health and well-being. So we get done by 8:20, and then the first Saturday comes in, and again it's still health, but we want to be done by hopefully noon, just like from a 8:40 till noon. Okay. Then Wednesday the 23rd, we go to housing, and we get done by 8:20. And then on 10/26, we go, this is safety and justice. So we go here and we get done, it's next Saturday, we get done by 11. And then this is the last one on 10/30, right before Halloween. And it is self-sufficiency. And this is the latest one that we got. This we get done at 8:40 is our last hearing. So yeah, this is gonna be the longest one, is self-sufficiency at the end. But again, you only come to the ones that you're assigned to. You don't have to come. And if you can't make it, that's fine, record it. But you're only, I will ask, if you can't come, send me some questions that you want to know, right? If you know that I can't be there that Wednesday, that's fine. Just send me some questions. So I'm going to put these into invites and start sending them out. I just want to show them you tonight. Okay. Any thoughts on that? You know, that was kind of the choice that we made. Yes, Christina.
Yeah, I think that one of the questions that came out of the nonprofit engagement sessions that we were going to just make standard across the board, because we knew kind of the state of the budget, or what the budget was, going to look like for 2025. One of the questions that we were going to ask was, what what is going to be the impact if you have decreased funding or you don't receive funding. I think that way we can get a good idea. And I have the exact wording, how we talked about it in one of our engagement sessions. But I think just across the board, we want to ask that one.
Sure.
And wanted to get some feedback about that as well.
Are there any other questions that we want to make sure we have at these hearings that you? If you think of something, just email.
I
so we
think
can make-
Kim raised her hand.
Oh, go ahead, Kim.
Yeah, I just wanted to respond, Christine. I think that's such an amazing question. I love that. And so I don't know if you wanted feedback, but I think that, especially in light of the demand, makes
Great.
total sense.
Yeah, and I think that, thank you, Kim. I think that, it became really clear to the organizations that have attended the nonprofit engagement sessions, really what the state of the budget is.
What happened?
And then number two is that this is a competitive grant process, and so there's no expectation that organizations are going to receive funding or that the funding is going to be the same, because what I have noticed over the past couple years is that we get a lot of questions about why was our funding cut, or why was even though we go out the door saying this is competitive, there's no expectation that funding levels are going to stay the same. And so I think just continuing to send that message as often as we can is really important. Thanks, Kim.
Yeah, we've been reiterating that at the when we have. I know Cassie's been to our public engagement. I think Michael was at one of them as well, and we've been very upfront with him. And Christine, I don't know if you want to give an update, or you want to wait until after you present to council. I guess maybe we should wait till after you present to council. But we've been very upfront that it's going to be a tough budget season. There's just no two ways about it. And reiterating that it is a competitive process, right?
Yeah. Yeah, what we can do is next Tuesday after we present to council, what we can do is send out the presentation to this group as well, and then have a further discussion about it. Yeah.
We're not sure if council's going to give any feedback that night, so we want to make sure that we get their first, and then we'll get it to you all.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where we're at.
For those of us who are doing this for the first time, we talk a little bit about the scoring process and.
Yes, I can talk. So basically the scoring goes from 1 to 5. You're gonna read the question, and 1 being they're not answering the question, they're not meeting the requirement. 5 is they are meeting it as to your satisfaction. And the questions are I've shared the question, but I can share them again. But the questions are for you all is really around the program area. You're not looking at the agency budget. You're not looking, you're looking at the program area. And the questions are around, are they providing meaningful outcomes? Are they doing, sufficient evaluation and responding to that evaluation? Because there's questions that talk about how they evaluate and how they respond to the evaluation. So your questions are all around the program. And some are weighted more than others. Some are weighted by 3, and I'm going to handle that on the back end. But it's really around, and hopefully, if I did it right this time, I'll keep checking. And if I didn't, let me know. You'll have some instructions on there. And if it's not there, because Crystal cut it last year, I can try and get it in, or I can send it out. But basically, you'll see that I haven't had a chance to talk. I'm meeting with Michael tomorrow. You'll see the application, the evaluation on your left side, and the application on your right side. And you can scroll down the application and then the evaluation. Right, and Kesha, she's done 2 of them. Right, it's pretty intuitive. It's not super difficult. But and I would recommend. I mean, if you want to read everything you can, if you just want to skip all of the agency stuff, unless you're really interested in that stuff, you can skip all the and just jump into the program stuff. It's up to you. You know, and again, you know, you're not, thankfully, the board mentioned that in the past, the board had to read every one. And now you're only reading, you know, 3 priority areas each. And so,
Right. So, I mean, so we score them, then those will list comments.
I
right?
love
How much-
comments.
But how much?
Whatever you want to share.
Right, okay.
There's some folks that don't put any comments. There's some folks that, no, you can, you know, I love comments. You can put as much or as little comments as you want. That is up to you. I'll tell you where comments come in handy, right? It's like when Christina and I have those conversations, like why did the funding get cut? I go back and look at the application. I look at my comments. I try and put comments on all the things that I read. I look at your comments this year. I get to look at other staff that's also helping with the scoring. So comments can be super helpful, but you don't have to put them, you know. But yeah, every question should have a space for comments.
And it sounds like each category has 3 reviewers.
Yes.
Do the 3 reviewers ever talk about their
You
rank?
could. Mostly people don't,
Okay.
but you know, and you want to always be careful about sunshine laws, right? So like if you, Cassie, and Crystal got together to
Yeah.
talk about that could be considered breaking sunshine law, right? So you always have to be careful about that. That's why all my emails to you all is in BCC. I always blind copy because I don't want to get into any situation where, you know, we start having an email conversation that could be considered a meeting that we didn't post. So, but feel free to reach out individually to each other if you have questions. Those details that are new. I mean, we have some very veteran evaluators here, so feel free to reach out to folks. But yeah, just be careful about like, oh, let's all 3 of us get together and talk. Well, you know, that technically could be a violation of that law, so we want to be careful about that. Which is why, even if you all don't show up, like even said, which is why for our what's it called? Our hearings, you know, there's 3 of you. So just and the fact that there's 3 of you, I have to post it. It's a public hearing. Somebody like Lene could come and say something before we start. Even if only 2 of you show up, the fact that I have 3 of you scheduled to be there, I have to post it. Right? It can't be, you know, we couldn't do just a meeting with that not being a public meeting.
Oh, so all, is it public, like how I ranked them in my
No,
comments?
No, because that is considered, I forget what that's considered, Christina.
Privileged?
That,
Process.
yeah, we don't need to post process. We'd need to post the outcome.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know that it would necessarily be considered privilege, but there is a reason that that we you know, I think it comes down to kind of the ins and outs of the programs. That would be, I believe, intellectual property of the organizations themselves. And so I think that's part of the reason. But yeah, if we need to look into why, we can do that.
Yeah, I just think it's because it's process, right? 'Cause-
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You remember, the reason that we do 3 is because then we take an average. So, you know, so not one of you is, you know, it's a combination of the people scoring. And now we're gonna have for each application, we're also gonna have an extra 2 or 3 reviewers from staff. So they'll have 5, so getting a better average, you know, getting stronger averages. So, so yeah, that's the way that works. Okay. Any other questions? All right, ready, set, go. Forward. This is it. This is it. Now we're, you know, for those that are new, this is the fun part.
And you'll share that schedule that you posted.
Yes, I will send it out. My goal tomorrow is to start reaching out to all the agencies, you know, and getting them scheduled, and I will start creating invites and sending them out. I just want to run it by you all first before I reach out to agencies.
And you don't have to wait to start grading
Okay.
until the meetings, like you can grade And then when you have the meeting, you can go back and if you think, oh, okay, I kind of scored them low, but now they explained a little bit about whatever X, Y, Z. Then
Yes.
you can go back and change that score. So.
Yeah.
Not due the night of the.
No, so good question. When are they due? So we make our decision on November 14th, and we have to have a conversation about that, probably not tonight, maybe in October meeting. So I need them by Friday, November 1st. So that gives me a couple of weeks to if I have to, yeah. So no, Friday, November 1st. So we get done. So I guess the only folks that are going to be is that last group on the 30th. But like I said, you might have already scored them, and all you got to do is go back and fix, and you're good. Okay.
How much time should we plan to spend on an application? I know it varies, but just.
So I will ask for the wisdom of those that have done it for a long time that are here. Crystal, Kim, Graham, how much time do you usually take an application? Oh, and Martha's coming in too. All right.
It depends if I'm just getting started or I'm trying to finish things up. I think at least, I feel like a half an hour on average. And I know some of these programs from previous years, so that helps as well. But I'd say an average of a half hour.
And I would add that the just kind of back to the deadline of why we need them on that date in November is because we need to present our recommendations or your recommendations to City Council the last meeting of the year in December. And so there's just a really strict timeline that the city clerk's office has for us turning in information to be on the agenda. And so there really is no wriggle room for that due date. They just need to be done then. And Eliberto does a good job of just kind of trying to time everything out and give you all enough, the most time that he can give so that we can meet our deadline.
And it's you guys are making hard decisions, right? That November meeting, it's a hard decision you'll have to make. We made a hard one last year. I'm not expecting it to be any easier. I will try and give you more choices this year, but it's going to be, it's always a hard choice. And so you all make the big bucks, right? But yeah, that's if we get done by November 1st, that gives me a couple of weeks to really dive into and make sure I get all my numbers correct. There's a lot of scores, right? So I double, triple check because there's a ton of scores and I want to make sure I get them right.
So that's the meeting where there's some information sharing amongst the committee where I may have ranked a project high and others rank it low.
So hopefully we don't go into that level of detail. It's more around, I think last year the conversation is like, okay, do you all feel comfortable with the ranges that we're doing or not? Because we do it a formulaic process, we try and not go into the individual agency level. That was part of the reason. So the formulaic process started in 2018, right? Because before it was like that, and it got really. And so the previous director said, let's go to a formulaic process so that it's really about the board is making bigger picture decisions instead of, do we fund feral cats more than, so the idea is to move away from the individual and talk big picture. How are we going to allocate this funding? Are we going to, like the decision we made last year, are we going to reward our highest, which means that other folks are going to get hurt more? Or are we going to say, we're going to give everybody a cut to make everybody more even, right? So those are the kind of decisions that we're going to make that night. And I'll give you those options, but I need those scores so I can create those options for you. Oh, Graham, go ahead. Oh, I think you're muted, Graham. No, try it out.
Do you want to put a comment in? Maybe use the chat feature?
Yeah, you can use the chat feature. and I can show it to everybody here. Yes, I totally agree. You know, it's people will have you two can look at the same application and score it completely different. So what we've done, and I thank Hayden, previous board chair, she brought in the idea of using standard deviation to make the scores a little more what's the word? Just more consistent, bring consistency to the scoring. But yes, it is the diversity of scoring that makes it that really is makes the process work.
There's a couple more comments.
Solid. And poor Martha, she was such a trooper last year. She volunteered to do, I think, 40.
Oh my gosh.
She did 40 last year. She was great. She put all sorts of comments. They were wonderful to read. Because I read all of your stuff. I mean, I double check your numbers. I make sure I'm transposing those numbers correctly. But she was a trooper. She did it all. I mean, I'm impressed with her commitment. So. All right. Anything else on this topic?
Just like Aliberto has said, there should be a grading scale to let you know the definitions of like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, I'll send it out. I have it. I'll just go ahead and just send it out separately.
If you don't, then just tell Aliberto.
Yeah. It's pretty straightforward, right? Are they answering the question? Are they doing the work that are they? Because all our questions again are centered around efficiency, efficacy. You know, now this year we do have a question around race and equity. It's a broader. We're not going deep into the race and equity, but basically the questions around commitment to racial, because there's a whole section on racial equity questions, and we want to make sure that they have a commitment to it. And it's weighted 3 points higher weight, just because this board has been consistently saying that it's important to us as a board. So there's a new question there as well. So, all right. Any other comments or questions about this? And if not, we can turn it over to Christy and her team and she can talk housing. So we do human services. We just went to the human services site right now. And now we're going to turn it over to our housing department and they get a chance to talk to the board and give them their update.
All right, thanks, Alberto. Good evening, everyone. Hello from my kitchen. Wow, that's a lot of applications. We had 9 housing applications earlier in the spring. I don't know if you all remember, and 50 some. That's a lot of work. So thanks in advance for everyone's volunteerism and helping staff go through those, because that's really meaningful. So we just have a quick update today about our down payment assistance program. I'm going to turn it over to our homeownership specialist, Katie, who will give you a little update, and then we're happy to take any questions. And then that'll be it for HCI staff.
All right. Thank you guys so much. My name is Katie Silvis. I'm the homeownership program specialist here with the city. And we reviewed the need for a pitch for a local down payment assistance program that is not a federally funded program, that would actually be funded by the City of Longmont for citizens in Longmont. And I've been developing that program. We were going to take it to council. Well, we did take it to council, and a lot of the feedback that you guys provided to us was really helpful. So thank you guys so much for that from our meeting a few months back. Council didn't have anything to add to what we presented to them, but we do have to go back and chat with them a little bit more about the program once it's a little more formulated, and we just need a little bit more time to do that. As I'm diving into the current down payment assistance program that is federally funded and processing more applications and going through a few more applicant scenarios, there's just more things that we're uncovering. Even this morning, we found something that we brought to legal and got some advice on. So we're just going to take a little bit more time to make sure we're doing it right and not creating something that's going to have to be fixed a whole lot later. So you will see that hopefully in the end of October is what we're aiming for rather than this meeting. That. Great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for Katie or Christy about the? Oh, Alejandro.
May we see what you presented to City Council?
Yeah, could you send that to the board?
So we didn't actually, the item got pulled right before the meeting. So we didn't end up actually presenting to council. We had prepared a council comm, but it didn't make it into the packet. So we never had a published version for council because we ran into some legal questions right beforehand. But certainly when we take it a more finalized version back, the goal is a study session in late October or November. We'd be happy to share that with the board. Right now, Katie's working, main thing she's doing is working on red lines of the program guidelines for the current federally funded DPA program, because we've uncovered some HUD regulatory guidance has changed, and also some of our own policies we're now getting advised from legal staff we can change. So it's a lot of going through the program and reconsidering all of our policies and whether they are still required by the federal regulations or not. And if they're not, can we change them to make it work better and serve more people? So does that answer your question? Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and I just want to clarify, we went, when we did, I think it was when we did the budget meeting where they just gave us the approval to pursue a local DPA. We didn't actually present anything to them at the time. We came back for this last meeting 2 weeks ago and ended up pulling that. So I apologize if that was confusing. There were 2 different council meetings that I didn't clarify. So sorry about that, guys.
No worries. Yep. So we have the approval from council to set aside basically $250,000 of our local affordable housing fund for a local DPA program. But yeah, we pulled the actual proposed program guidelines right before we were going to go in early August, because we are still working through some HUD legal changes with our city attorney, Tim, who works on those things with us. So we're hoping to get it in good shape for later this fall. But we'll keep you all updated. And yeah, just want to echo what Katie said about your input at the July meeting. It was really helpful in making sure that as we're updating the program, we're trying to serve as many folks as possible.
All right. Any questions for Christy?
Just want to say thank you. Sorry I had a mouthful of food. I haven't eaten all day.
It's okay. You can't see my bowl of finished mac and cheese off to the side here. Yeah, thank you all. And we'll be looking forward to bringing in an update on that program in the next few months.
So Kim, before we adjourn, I actually do have some other business that's not necessarily, we have to take care of it tonight. But talking to you reminded me. The application for joining this board just opened last week. I'm not sure when it closes, but like we do every year, we can decide this in October. We as a board, or you as a board, has to decide on a process for interviewing. I think the last couple of years we've allowed the chair and vice chair to do it. You could all do it. Like we could have a meeting and bring all the applicants before all of you. We could do that way. You can delegate it to Kim and Robert. So we don't have to decide tonight. I'm just telling you that we have to decide in October. Because I think it closes in. Yes, Kim.
I didn't mean to interrupt your statement. Go ahead and finish,
I
Alberto.
think, I'm not sure when it closes, but I think we got a couple of months before it closes. But we need to decide on a process on how we're gonna do it.
So I would just like to propose that it not be left up to the chair and co-chair, just because I think that might limit new perspectives. And I love the direction that the board is going in. And I don't want like that stagnant energy to be, and I don't want to like reflect poorly on longer standing members, but I think that new energy of new board members is really important, and their perspectives are maybe even more valuable than those who've been in the.
Yeah, we can decide in October, but it's up to you all how you want to do it. We could do a committee. If you don't want the whole board, we could do it a committee. It might have to be a posted meeting, but that's fine. We could do a committee of 3 or 4. Yeah, I totally open to how you want to do it. I'm just throwing it out there that we have to make that decision probably in October, and then we'll probably have that, whatever we got to do. I just feel bad that I'm throwing so much at you all, but a lot of our stuff happens in the fall, and it just happens to be that we're gonna have new. I think Graham, you're term limited. Graham has been an amazing board member for a long time, has been chair multiple times, and yeah, so.
Is that the only seat that's?
No, well, there's a couple of folks that got, and I will email. There's a couple of folks that came in, what's called, what's it called, Peter? Oh, I'm a blanket tonight. Like they're unended, you're taking somebody else's term that didn't finish their term because they left. And so those usually end sooner. So like you may only have until now, and I will go back and check again to make sure. But I think some of you entered on somebody else's term, and so it ends when their term ends, and you have to reapply. But I'll make sure I confirm that.
That is a lot of responsibility for 2 people to decide.
Yeah.
You know, who gets to be on the board. So I like.
Well, okay, so let me clarify this.
It's up to them.
You don't get to, all you get to do is just the same thing with the funding. All you're doing is recommending. You don't get to decide who's on the board. And I will tell you that you all have recommended folks, and council has gone a different way. So yeah, so just, this is more for the council wants to hear from you, but they might not necessarily agree with you. So it's just really because we want to do our due diligence. We're going to make recommendations, but it's council who decides. We don't decide. So we'll talk more about it in October. I'll put it on the agenda for October. It shouldn't be a long conversation. And once you decide, then I will work on creating the process and all that. I'll take care of that. So I'll just need decisions from you all in October. I think that's the only other. Graham, see if we can hear you now. Try talking.
I think he's typing.
Okay, type it. That's fine. Great question. He does get invited. I can't speak for Councilman Aaron Rodriguez, but he is in our invitations. But yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that earlier.
Yeah. Should we had a great, Chiquita was, as much as she could be here, she was here. So.
Right, and we'll also have elections again now in November. We have some seats that are terming now on council in November that are up for election, I guess I should say. And so my guess is that council will go through the process again of signing up for advisory boards. And so, we don't know if Council Member Rodriguez will be the liaison to this board again for this next year, if that's going to change. So there may be some changes there as well.
Yeah, the council changed, and Chiquita just always fought to be on our board because she came from work. So
yeah,
but yeah. All right, that was my other business. Just wanted to just put a heads up that this is coming, and the board needs to choose how they want to do it.
Is there any way we can support you on the event though, with Brenda gone?
Eric is helping a lot. The biggest help, you guys are already doing so much. There's just so much work that I'm throwing on you all. So we will figure this out. We will get it done. But thank you. I appreciate that, but you all have so much work ahead of you. I'm happy that we did what we did about not making you read all 62 applications and just reading your priority areas. It has reduced the amount, and I'm happy that Martha didn't choose 4 this year. She did, so I'm happy that hopefully it'll be more, more reasonable amount to do. But yeah, you guys are already doing so much, and the city thanks you. And yeah, we're gonna have some tough choices, but that's why the city puts faith in you as a board, and I do as well, and we'll get it done. Kim, I have nothing else, so I turn it back to you.
Okay, if there aren't any other items of business, then I guess it's time to adjourn. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And is Alejandro, are you seconding the motion?
Yes.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Have a great night, everyone.
Good
Thank
night,
you so
y'all.
much. And ready, set, go.
Bye, thanks.
All right, I'm gonna stop the recording.
The nice thing is I'm not in school this year, so usually that's like
More time.
heavy work, so I should get my application